All right. 13 love, 13 knowledge, 13 wisdom, and 13 respect. This is your creation 13. Today we're going to be talking about understanding more about the self and then the programs of this reality. And the importance of learning more about the self and trying not to, keyword trying not to, allow the programs of the world to over-dominate the importance of the self and learning about the importance of your experience and encounters here, right? There's still a lot of things that humanity is still learning about the self that is misunderstood a lot. I'm all about learning to love yourself, appreciate yourself, respecting yourself, and in that case, can also, got to be interrupted here, can also help you help others and help them learn on how to develop their self as well, right? There's a huge thing, at least that I'm experiencing and seeing, is choosing a program of dominance, choosing a program of dominance to make a change in the world, right? And totally bypassing the importance of you, right? You're in this physical body for a reason, right? You matter. And it's important to understand that, because we don't grow up with that knowledge. We don't. We grow up with programs. We learn that the world dominates over the self. We learn that you're not important, that you're just a body in this world, right? And it's the exact opposite, right? So many people are leaning towards a dominating word or a dominating force. And what I mean by that, basically, like with religion in general or politics, things of that nature, it is a dominating keywords that make you feel to fit in. You have to choose these key words to fit in, right? And same with me. I was born and raised in a Christian home and in the churches, so I understand the process of giving up your life, which is what they teach you in the Bible, giving up your life to serve a key word, right? And it makes it all glamorous to a point of that's what you're bringing out, right? That's what you're bringing out at the end of the day. And that's something that I really want to just touch on that topic as well, because I have a relationship with Christ, but it's an inner relationship, which is what Christ taught us, right? It's an inner relationship, not an outside relationship. And that's what the churches continuously teach, is an outside relationship, right? They try to help you to have the inner relationship, but because you have that one experience, people get lost and confused. They don't know how to continue that relationship going forward. So that's definitely something that you got to look at as well as a whole. So with that being said, I wrote down a little thing here to kind of help you look at different ways on what we're looking at for the self and the programs of the world. So I'll go ahead and just read it, because I guess it'd be a little hard. So the self is the inner person and also the service to self, right? Because if you're not servicing yourself, there's no way in the world you're going to be able to help serve others and help others out. It's so very important to understand that. So in the churches, they teach you to lose your life and give your life to to the Jesus character, right? And so it totally bypasses the understanding that you have to service yourself, right? Well, Adam, they teach you to give up everything and then that you're free. That's never the case. The reason why it's never the case is because you still have to work on your service to self. Always, you have to, because there's always going to be things of the world that's going to try to bypass the service to self, right? And what is the service to self? It is realizing that you're the I am, right? You are the I am of things, right? You're experiencing through an I am perception, right? I am this, I am that. I am not this, I am not that. No, it's not that I am one with you, you are one with me. It is, what are you choosing to be as an I am, right? Because there's things of this world that are very wicked and disgusting. Are you that I am? I'm not that I am. I ain't choosing those programs, right? So it's going to be a selective choice of I ams. Selective choices of creation of the I am and selective choices of destruction of the I am. There's two different categories. That's how this world is ran. It's either through creation or destruction. And I am not destruction, but I am creation. And those are two key things that a lot of people don't tell you or teach you, right? And this is something that I've been observing forever. But that's the key thing. Creation or destruction. I am not destruction, but I am creation. And you get to choose one of those two paths. The experience. We're experiencing life, right? There's things in this world, there's programs in this world that are constructed for your experiences and encounters, right? A lot of them are distractions. We all get stuck in these distractions, but you learn from them. As long as you're learning from them, you can adapt and grow. And as a whole, those programs help the service to self, and it also helps the service to others. You just have to be very mindful and observant, and continue to mature through the experiences, because you'll experience things many times because you may have chosen the wrong path. So it's like, oh, you got to retake the test again, Adam. So then you go through the same program till you get it right and learn to grow and mature within that. Your soul, so very important. There's a lot of scientific proof that the soul exists. But during the ancient times and the writings on the wall and things of that nature, through spiritual exploration, there is a soul, right? And this vessel here is just a vehicle to harness the soul so we can have these encounters and experience this physical reality. So it's very important to understand that you do have a soul, and it's not because of religion. It's that's what you are. Right? You're a sovereign being. You are a soul being, a spiritual being that's in this meat suit, and that's just part of this experience. And it's what life is through the multiverse, through the multi-dimensions. We are a soul. It's not a religion. It's not, oh no, I need to have the Holy Spirit to make me alive. No, it's that you need to reclaim your soul. And understand that what that means, right? I could explain it all day long, but you have to realize that you are a soul, and that your soul is in bondage, and you have to learn on how to release the bondage that you're trapped in. It could be ancestral curses. It could be voodoo magic or witchcraft or whatever it is. There's something that has bonded your soul because of curses that have been placed on the bloodline. So you have to learn on how to break free from that, and it's hard. It is hard. That's where you have to understand more about the self through meditation. That is the inner person, the service to self, and the supernatural encounters. Understanding what those supernatural encounters are as well. It's not just angels and demons, because those words are Greek words, right? It's messengers that come and visit you or a part of your ancestral heritage. There's a lot of things that go on behind this veil that heighten your sense of supernatural experiences. And you have to pay attention to them because they happen all the time. It's just, are you aware of these supernatural encounters? And are you going to be selective in these supernatural encounters? That's the key thing. Because if you're very religious, you're going to automatically assume it's an angel or Jesus Christ that is the supernatural encounter. But from my encounters, as a whole, Christ has always been my foundation and strength. So even when I went through the darkest night of the soul, there was always that presence of, hey, I have always been here for you. All you had to do is ask. And it always is an I, or an I am coming. It is not, hey, I'm Jesus Christ, or hey, I'm Archangel Michael, or hey, I'm this or that, right? It's always an I am presence that presents itself as a whole, because it's making you aware that there is divine presence that is aiding us through this physical reality. Again, that's where the programs of the world come in, because when we have supernatural encounters, we go back to the programs that this world has shown us through religion, through books, through television, right? Through different occult practices, things of that nature. There's programs of this world that overtake the reality of the supernatural, the divine source of things, right? There is everything as a whole. This physical reality is programs. The spiritual realm is the true realm of reality, because it has to do with matter, dark matter, energy, synergy, the ethers, things like that. That's what runs reality. The programs are designed for blockages, imprisonment, purpose, realization, experiences, what else is there? There's so many different things. So you have to be able to figure out which is which. And it sounds complex, but again, it depends on where you're at and what you're doing here in this human experience. Right through my whole experience, I've always been studying human culture, right? I was born and raised in a church home. I went to school from like 2nd or 3rd grade in the church, and then I was homeschooled the rest. So I didn't really have the outside influence of the world. I was not programmed by the world. I was taught of programs, but I never had the influence of others outside the self to reprogram me into the world. So then when I was 19, that's when I ventured out into the world, got a job, and learned really hard how this world is ran, and just how distant people are from their soul, and just how distant people are from the supernatural life, right? And this goes into religion too. This is probably the hardest part that people don't understand about religion, is it tells you to worship idols outside the self. It tries to teach you how to have encounters with Christ, but it doesn't teach you how to continuously have the inner standing, right? Through meditation, right? You're taught prayers, but praying, as I've talked about in the previous video, praying, what you're taught is begging. So, you're begging and pleading with the Creator on what you want, instead of invoking what is required in your life, right? Hey, I need this house so then I can do what I need to do, and my family can be a lot happier in this house. So it's a requirement exchange, keyword exchange, and what's going to help you in the long run as well through that. So religion will teach you about idol worshiping, and it's continued to this day. Again, there's another video I want to make, but I'm going to have to make it later. So we'll go ahead and talk about the programs of the world, the outer person, and the service to others, right? Because when you're outside yourself in the world, you are serving others, right? Service to self is sitting through meditation, learning more about the I am. Service to others is outside reflection. You're learning about others, and you're learning and maturing in what you need to develop as the I am as well. So programs of the world, the main ones are religion, work, because you got to work, right? Money, which is also the product of exchange. Money, exchange, no matter what it is, if you're helping a friend, they're going to help you. It's a product of exchange. And that's how the universe works, is through exchange. Relationships, no matter what it is, friendship, marriage, a partner, whatever it is, you're learning about relationships. You're learning how to work with other experiences and different viewpoints of life, right? Because there's all walks of life that help you understand more about the programs of this reality and the different choices that you can make. Again, I am creation or I am destruction. So you get to see those in the physical reality, what is creation, what is destruction. And you get to choose to be selective in those two categories. I am not everything, right? I am choosing creation, not destruction. And that is maturity of the mind and understanding that. So when people say I am one, they're lying to themselves and they have no idea what they're talking about, right? It's a product of understanding where your soul is progressing. So I want to progress, my soul wants to progress through creation and continue to mature into the next life, or however that works. I'm going to choose creation. People choose destruction, their soul is going to have a harder time going through the evolutionary process of the soul. But it's very complex as well. So choose creation. Trust me, you'll be on the right path. Your passion is very important as well. Now, there's a difference between passion and idol worshiping. Okay, let me say that again. There's a difference between passion and idol worshiping. What is your passion? So again, this goes into creation or destruction. Destruction is going to be all about you. It's going to be the idol of you and the manipulation of others. Right? The manipulation of others. Now, as a whole, we're manipulating everybody anyways, because when we speak, when we do things, it is a product of manipulation. This world is a product of manipulation, be it of creation or be it of destruction. So manipulation is not a bad thing. It's how you use it. So manipulation of creation or manipulation of destruction. That's what you choose. So a passion is going to be either helping others, like what I do. I'm very passionate about helping others, and I want to see people learn on how to love themselves, have a better understanding of the world, have a better understanding about the spiritual realm, and learn things that you never thought of. Learn things that you never thought of, because a lot of people's mindsets are on the ways of the world. On the ways of the world. Again, the ways of the world are religion, work, money, exchange, relationships, your passion, and idol worshiping. That is what is important to understand as a whole. Hopefully this doesn't freeze on me. Something's popping up here. I don't know what it is. But we shall continue on unless this thing freezes on me. So, anyways, so that's the programs of the world. Religion, work, money, exchange, relationships, your passion, and idol worshiping. So your passion is going to to either be service to others or service to just yourself. And this is where it's the product of idol worshiping. So idol worshiping is all the glam and glory of you, trying to be something more appealing. This is something I've been watching and observing with relationships, on how women and men, right, really choose to glamorize themselves into an idol, and they make people feel that you're a small pebble, and that they are everything, and that you have to buy their love, you have to buy everything for them. That is a form of idol worshiping of the self. It's bizarre, but this goes into other things as well. And I'm going to use religion as a whole, because there is a Babylonian state of confusion that's going on between spirituality and religion, right? And it's the product of perceived New Age and religion as a whole, right? In the mindsets of the world, they have created this concept that spirituality and religion, that there is a battle. There is a battle, right? Spirituality is spirituality as a whole. Again, the self, the I am, your soul as well. You've had encounters before this life, and you're going to have encounters after this life. And in previous life, the programs of the world exist, no matter what it is. Like myself, I've been a cat being many times, a Lyran cat being. They have different programs of their reality. Arcturian, many programs of their reality. But you're still a soul that continues on. Okay? So, in this religion, and you got to do the research on where religion came from, right? And do the research on what you're reading, right? The Bible was made by man. It was written by these human hands, right? And no matter how many times you tell people this, right? I still read the Bible. I read it. I do research on it. But unlike the majority of people, right? I do the research and backtrack. I look at the Hebrew roots and continue to go backwards on what is the earliest text that make up what that Bible was trying to say as a whole. Because the Bible that we currently have is not translated correctly. There's no word Peter or Paul or Jesus Christ or God. None of those words exist. They exist because they were created to manipulate people into a selected program of religion, to keep you away from the I am self and begin to create the agenda that was generated by the ones who created it. Would be the Roman Empire, and then you got to continue to go into that. Again, it goes into the Vatican, and the whole reason why that stuff was created was for control. So, with that being said, again, I read the Bible, but I learn on how to look at the root words and then go from there as well, right? So I always tell people, I'm like, words do matter. They do. So when you're talking about God, are you talking about the Vatican God, or are you talking about the Elohim? They're totally separate entities, right? You got Yahweh, you got the Tetragrammatron, you got Yahweh, you got Yeshua, you got Christ, you got Jesus, you got all these programs, and they are totally different. And each word that you invoke into the world, you are creating commands to these beings. And I've talked about this before. Since Jesus Christ is talked or invoked into the world by millions of people, it has created a creation, an I am creation of self-help. But as a whole, we also have watchers that watch and help us, the stars, the planets, that help you understand that better. Be like, oh, the word Jesus Christ, oh man, we got to go and help them awaken themselves, because they don't know no different. They're only using what they're taught. So it goes from there as well. Agree with me? Not, it's the product of exploration, right? Because if you're choosing the right and wrong, then you're never going to learn and grow. You got to be very transparent in learning this stuff as a whole, because it is a one awareness. So, idol worshiping is going to be outside the self, and this is something that I've been looking at as a whole, right? Because with the New Age element, they teach you about service of self, but the problem with the New Age is that they teach you all these different kind of practices and invoking other spirits. Therefore, it doesn't teach you about the I am presence. It's teaching you to have spirits to help you along the way. Now, spirits do help you, but you got to realize that you're the I am, and the spirits are here sitting down, and you're going to guide them if you need to, right? That's where it's the product of the spirit of love, the spirit of greed, the spirit of lust, the spirit of truth, the spirit of heart, the spirit of strength, the spirit of hope. All these are different spirits that we invoke into the world that help us out or hurt us as well, right? They're all different kind of spirits. So, I hope that makes sense. Like, I don't know, it makes sense to me, but that's me, right? That's me, just because I've just been really observant and looking at things as a whole. So, like, when you give your life away, what are you doing? What are you doing, right? Now, this is going to be a flip side of things, because I had a good childhood. I was raised, and I chose to choose the right path. I stumbled here and there, but I never got into drugs. I never got into drinking. I never got into anything that was of a dark nature. So, I chose right. I chose the path that my mom opened the door for me for, right? So my mom was a huge influence. Christ was a huge influence on my life. So, I would always have those conversations with Christ of like, what do I do? Right? Always had that mature mindset, Christ, the mature mindset to help guide me through life. Now, not a lot of people get to go through that. And I think this is the product of Babylonian state of confusion that people are having right now, because there's people who are drug addicts or were drug addicts, alcohol, depression, they've lost their mom or dad, they had a bad mom or dad, people were abused, and just horrible things happened to them one after another. So this is where the programs of the world are going to over-dominate them, because they don't know nothing else. And when your vehicle gets messed up, I'm not saying you can heal your vehicle. You can heal your vehicle. But again, we're not taught how to heal our vehicles, so you have to learn how to go that route. But once your mind is messed up, your engine to your suit gets messed up, you're going to have a hard time processing this I am presence. You're not going to understand it. So I think that's where the program of religion comes in, to help people get rid of the old presence as well. So it's a good program, but it's a lift up. You get this filled with the Holy Spirit in one day, and then you go back to the programs of the world because you don't know how to sustain that relationship. It's a product of idol worshiping after that. because you have this rush, the Holy Spirit, the rush, and then you don't know what to do with it afterwards. You feel that you need to present the program of religion to the world, and then that's it, right? And that's where the hiccup is. So you have the New Age and you got religion, and there's that hiccup. So New Age teach you about the self, but again, you're relying on spirits to motivate you. In religion, you rely on the key words of God and Christ, Jesus Christ, but you totally lose touch with the self, because you're like, oh, I don't matter. But Jesus's teachings is what matters. So it's a product of idol worshiping in both ways, and it's learning to deprogram yourself from the world. It's the ways of the world. Religion is the ways of the world. Now again, I have my personal belief and faith, and I use those practices for the I am self, and I use those practices for service to others, right? I understand that I created a transparency for myself to mature, because when you hold on to the ways of the world, you're going to lose touch with the I am. So you have to create the balance, and people don't teach you this, because it ends up getting too complex for the mind. So it's for a selective few. That's why Christ always spoke in parables, because he knew that those who truly understood the I am and who truly understood the ways of the world would create a transparent state, where they realize that the battle is an illusion. The battle is an illusion. You really just sit back and just watch the battlefield, right? If you're in your I am state and you're mature, you're going to create a peace of mind. Now, there's still going to be trials and tribulations, don't get me wrong, and that's where a lot of people fall, because they don't understand what's happening as a whole. But it's understanding that, more importantly. I don't know how else to really talk about it after that. But hopefully, I got to make this, that's already 32 minutes in. So hopefully this makes sense as well. There's an I am self, and there's the programs of the world. And you have to learn on the inner person and the outer person. The service to self is you. The service to others is others. But if you're not doing the service to self, you're doing no good to help service to others, because you're in the product of being broken, because you're missing the first step of the I am self, right? And if you're in religion, right, you're going to have to learn more about the I am self. That's what people are learning now. That's why things are so distorted, and why that previous video I made is going to end up being that people have been lied to the whole time, right? What I'm presenting is what's going to be known one step at a time. One step at a time. I was learning about the I am presence, and then the programs of the world. And it just depends on where you're at. Some people are going to be stuck in the programs of the world. They will. They will fight tooth and nail to keep the programs of the world alive. They're going to fight tooth and nail to keep the churches alive. They're going to fight tooth and nail to keep politics alive. They're going to fight tooth and nail between the selective programming of the world. And it's yes and no's, right? And there's nothing in between. There's a whole lot of things that are in between. You need to pay attention to what is between the lines, because if you don't, you're going to be in a battle. You're going to either choose the red pill or the blue pill. That middle pill is the one you want to choose, right? The dark matter that you can't see, right? Dark matter surrounds us all as a whole, and dark matter is talked about through science. It's talked about through the Bible. There's darkness that starts first. Darkness is first. Light is next. And if you ever watch the sun is just a lantern for the world. It just passes through. But the way the world really looks is darkness. That's its true nature, is darkness. Because you get to see the real world. You get to see the souls of humanity, the stars and the planets. That's the real world, right? When you see the lamp, the sun passing by, we're just seeing a reflection of beauty. But the true world is the darkness of reality. So I could definitely get deep into that as well. So hopefully this stuff makes sense. It's definitely for a very select few who get this message. But if you have any questions, concerns, let me know. And we'll figure this out together, right? We're reaching the next step in understanding things better. We're learning more about the soul every day. We're learning more about the I am every day. It's really nice when I do create things through people's posts. I'll post things on their feed, and people are understanding it more, and people are also realizing, that there is agendas that are within these programs of this reality, whether it be through religion or politics or selective mindset, whatever it is. There's things going on. So it's all about being authentic and true 100%. The person you see here is the person you're going to see out there. There is nothing in between this, right? Nothing in between my camera. Like, see this stuff here, right? This stuff is part of my childhood, and I enjoy this stuff, right? And I think we have to start presenting just as a whole of our passions in life, right? Because if you're 100% spiritual, then you're going to reflect that in your background, and you're going to hopefully be reflecting that outside the self. There can be people who project so spiritual, they're very spiritual on this camera here, but then they're not in the physical reality. So you got to be able to understand both as well, being authentic, not just one state of mind, which again brings back into religion. There's a reason why I'm bringing up religion, right? I have my faith and belief as a whole with the Creator and with relationship with Christ. But religion is really, it's being reflected on the world in a way that people are being confused a lot, because they're learning about the different words. They're like, hey, the word God doesn't exist. Well, what are these Elohims, and how come Elohims are plural? Does that mean that there's more than one creator? What does it mean when Moses talks to his God, right? Uh-oh. Freezing up here now. So that means I need to get off of here. So when Moses is talking to his Creator, he's like, well, what do I tell the people? Well, it is, tell him, I am what I am. That is the Creator that Moses, that Creator is telling Moses to tell him. My name is I am what I am. And that is a very eye-opener for a lot of things. So there's many different ways to look at it as a whole. So, if you want to do command codes to fit into a crowd, that's what's going to happen. But if you don't choose those command words, God, Jesus Christ, they're going to throw you to the wolves, and they won't even think about you after that, because you're not part of the pact. So if you're not part of the pact, you're not going to be a part of it. And that's the sad truth about things, and that's why it's important to understand the programs of the world. That is the programs of the world. If you're not including everybody, you're the ways of the world, and you're creating an idol worshiping tool, because you're not involving everybody. You're not. And that's what's sad. We have to learn on how to work together. Now again, it's the product of creation. So as long as you're creating beautiful things, you're good. Come on in. But if you're creating destruction, then it ain't going to happen. So that also, this is where I got to make another video. That also leads into, again, religion can be a form of destruction, because if you don't follow those code words of God and Jesus Christ, they'll kick you out, man. And that's sad. Even if you say, hey, I got a relationship with Christ and the Creator. Oh, no, you don't. Then what are you doing? What are you doing? So we just got to learn to be respectful and mature as the world is continuing to evolve. I have conversations with my kids, and I teach them this stuff all the time. The product of programs of this world. Being aware. Who are you? Who are you? I ask my kids. I'm like, who are you guys? Where are you in life right now? Be aware of the programs of the world, and be observant. Watch people, how they react to things. Are they obsessed with certain things, right? Is it a healthy obsession, or is it a bad obsession? And go from there as well. So anyways, I'm rambling on like I always do. So love yourself. Keep shining bright. Just remember the importance of the I Am. Learn about the experience. Learn about your soul. Learn about the supernatural encounters. And meditation is key. Programs of the world is going to always be about religion, work, money, exchange, relationships, your passion, idol worshiping. That's the product of the world. So as a whole, you're going to have to learn on these and become transparent as well. Become that line in between, so you can begin to mature your soul as well. So anyways, I could talk forever. So love yourself. Keep shining bright. If you got any questions, concerns, leave them in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all later.